So I'm on my way to see Slender Man, and I have no expectations for this movie whatsoever. I think this counts as a video game movie because it was a popular video game, and that's what got everybody into Slender Man. I know it was a creepypasta, but it was a popular video game. So I'm going to count this as a video game movie. So if this is a good video game movie, that's 0 for 1. That's 0 for 1 because we haven't made one yet. I have no expectations though. None. Absolutely none whatsoever. Well, that was a little bit of a lie. I did lie to you there. I do have expectations. My expectations include a man with no face, and I expect there to be credits. If there's no credits, I'm going to be really upset. And I haven't seen any of the trailers. I haven't looked at any of the reviews, but on IMDb, the thumbnail for the trailer is a girl and a bookcase. So if there isn't a girl and a bookcase, I'm going to be really pissed off. Alright, so I just got out of Slender Man, and if you want to know my opinion in as few words as possible and not watch the rest of this video, I'm going to leave you with a conversation that I heard while I was leaving, which was, somebody said, I didn't think it was that bad, and then the girl responded, it was pretty rough. And if all you want is like a couple words, that's it. It wasn't that bad, but it was kind of rough. But if you actually want to hear my opinion, stick around. So this movie feels like it could be any horror movie. It doesn't have to be Slender Man. It doesn't have to have Slender Man attached to it. There's nothing unique that makes it Slender Man other than there's like a cicada noise when he's near the main characters that is supposed to be like the static that you hear in the video game, and he looks like Slender Man, kinda. But other than that, it's really just a horror movie. But that's not entirely a bad thing, because this movie does some things that I did not expect. This movie felt very cash grabby before I even saw it, because it's just kind of attaching the name of a popular thing to a movie, so I wasn't expecting anything artistic out of it. But there's some camera moves, there's some shot composition that they use that are really, really interesting, that honestly I would expect in a better movie. But the thing that I find really interesting about how they have these interesting shots in the movie is that they cut away from them really fast, as if they don't want you to see that, hey, in parts of this movie, try to do something interesting that maybe you haven't seen before, or at least that you wouldn't expect to see in this kind of movie. For example, there's a scene where the girls are walking up to a house and you're only looking in a reflection of the car window, which isn't super unique. It isn't super special, but to see it in this movie is really interesting. But they cut away from it so fast, as if they're like, let's get back to the reverse shot. We don't want to see any more of this. So it's just kind of, it's weird in that way. Or there's another shot where you're looking over the shoulder at her in the mirror, where you would definitely see the camera guy, and there's a couple tells that it's obviously like a double in a fake mirror, but the mirror does something different than what she does in the real world, so it's okay that there's like that little falter there, because it doesn't matter. But my point is that it's a cool shot, and it's a cool idea for a scene in the movie, even though it has nothing to do with Slender Man. There's a lot of horror in this movie that isn't derived from like Slender Man. They just create scary things, and they're like, oh, Slender Man caused that. He did it with his magic, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not shitting on the movie for that. I honestly kind of expected that, just because you don't have a lot to go off of with Slender Man. In the video game, you see him in the woods a lot. Of course, the kids are in the woods a lot. The teenagers are in the woods. By the way, they don't look like teenagers, but I'm not mad about it, because I kind of expected that as well. They're in the woods like a lot. They run, like me personally, I would never run into the woods. Are you shitting me? No, thank you, especially at night. What? Get out of the woods, you crazy kids. What the f*** are you doing? And of course, the main character has like an edgy best friend, and at the beginning of the movie, they're watching like a cat video, and the edgy best friend is like, it'd be funnier if the cat exploded at the end. And the main character's like, oh my god, you're so edgy. And she's like, they're talking about like demons or whatever, and she's like, I keep all mine on the inside. And it's like, okay, well, that's a little extra. However, I don't blame the actress for that. I would 110% blame the writing, because later in the movie, she gives an incredible performance. Maybe incredible's a strong word, but for this movie, she does such a good job. Oh my god. Although, I think she might be Australian, because I could totally hear an accent in there. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to put up on the screen right now if she's actually Australian. Hi, future John again. She's not Australian. I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure she's Australian. Another thing I did not at all expect from this movie, there are some moments that actually kind of scared me, and not in the jump scare sense. There are a lot of jump scares in this movie, which I expected, because horror movies that don't derive their horror from like a psychological aspect tend to rely on jump scares. So I was expecting jump scares. But this movie has some visuals in it that without the jump scare part, without the sound design, would still be scary. This is kind of spoilery, so if you don't want to be spoiled, skip to this time code. Well, there's a part where a girl is making out with a guy, and then we cut to the girl, and then we cut back to the guy, and his head is furiously shaking and deforming, and the background is getting blurry, and it's like, holy shit, what the fuck happened? Like, usually in the movie, jump scares happen, I'm like, oh, it was a fake out, or okay, there's the Slender Man, you played a loud noise and you showed me the Slender Man, okay. But that, there was still a loud noise, and there was still like a, but I was unsettled in my seat. I wasn't scared by the jump scare, I was scared by the visual. And that's kind of to be expected in a horror movie, but I wasn't expecting it in this horror movie. One more thing that I did not expect out of this movie, the CGI was so bad. Holy fucking, how is this movie in 2018? How? I don't understand it. There's a part where the girl looks over to the woods and Slender Man's in the woods, and he looks like you took a GIF of Slender Man, like a 3D GIF, and just like plopped it into frame. The lighting doesn't match. He's like blobby and weird, and like the light, not only does the lighting not match, but it also like doesn't refract off him correctly, so it doesn't look like he's sitting by some trees, and it also doesn't look like he's made out of like skin or suit or tentacles or whatever. It kind of looks like he's just made out of clay, like he's claymation over there, which I don't understand. There's like always bits and pieces where you can tell in a movie where CGI is not good, but there's no good CGI in this movie. None. Unless it's like hidden and I can't see it, and that's how good it is. There's no good CGI. There's only one part of the movie, maybe two, that I can remember where Slender Man is not a CGI fest. He's like a person with prosthetic on his face, and it's because it's a close-up, because he's getting close to somebody's face. But other than that, he's CGI the whole movie, and he looks so fake. So fake. The only thing scary about Slender Man is the fact that they play a loud sting and they cut to him really fast. Other than that, he looks so bad. They always do the same thing when they reveal Slender Man. Oh, he's blurry in the background. It's just a line in the background. Then, the line expands, and now it's Slender Man. What? A thing that didn't look like him in the background? That's him. Surprise! Are you surprised? Because that's him. And they do the thing where it's like she looks over and the camera pans with her, and then she looks back and the camera pans with her again, and then she looks over again. He's there! But obviously that's to be expected. I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting Hereditary out of this movie, okay? Speaking of which, if you haven't seen Hereditary, oh my god! Go see Hereditary. Stop what you're doing right now. I don't care what you're doing. You're watching this video, so clearly you have something better to be doing. Go watch Hereditary, and one of the naked brothers is in it, so that's always a plus. But this video isn't about Hereditary. This video is about Slender Man. Honestly, if you have a movie pass, go see Slender Man. If you have to pay the full $12 to see Slender Man, maybe wait for it to come out on DVD. It's fine. If you have nothing better to do and you're going to see it with some friends so you can pick on it, go see it. Because there's some good stuff there, but it's just not worth spending money on if you're going to see it by yourself like I did. People usually give star ratings when they review a movie. I think star ratings are kind of dumb because I like going to see movies. I've just kind of laid into this movie a little bit. Not as much as maybe more people will have, but I still enjoyed seeing it. I enjoyed watching it. I had a good time. So it's hard for me to give star ratings to movies when I just like going to the movies and I just like seeing movies. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to say a hard 6.5 out of 10. Some people will probably say 5. I can probably guess that people will say 4 or 5. I'm going to say 6.5 just because it's a good time. There's some stuff in there that's definitely worth watching. Also, one final note. There's a part in the trailer that reminded me of a part in the movie. Spoiler alert. One of the main 4 girls goes missing in the first act, and that's what kickstarts the plot. And she goes missing while the class is on a field trip. It's clearly a field trip because there's a school bus and all the kids have to wait around when she goes missing. But they're in a cemetery. Why did they go on a field trip to a cemetery? It's just like I just don't understand. You can find other reasons for your teenage characters to be in a cemetery because they're all edgy and technology and blah, blah, blah. But they're on a field trip to a cemetery? What the? So, recap. Go see Hereditary. The movie is kind of predictable, but there's some stuff in there that visually you might not expect. So, definitely go see it for that. If you have a movie pass. If you don't have a movie pass, you're probably going to be disappointed because you paid money to see that. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. It's just meh. You know what I mean? It's a time. Tell me if you want to see more of these videos, please, because I enjoyed making it, but I'm not sure if it's fun to watch. So if it's not fun to watch, say f you in the comments and I'll know. If it was fun to watch, say f you, but put two F's in the f, and that way I will know that you mean it, that you mean f you, but you also would like it if I talked about movies or anything else for that matter more. Also, I need to find a way to stop looking at the screen and start looking at the camera because I feel like a real douchebag. I just want to make sure I get the framing good because that's the point. Anyway, thanks for watching. Buy my merchandise, please. Also, I forgot to mention, yes, there was a bookcase in the movie and there were credits. So, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I got what I expected. I watched the trailer, after having seen the movie because I figured why not? What the? The movie, there's just shots in the trailer that are, not in the movie. There's a whole scene in the trailer that isn't in the movie. There's a part in the trailer where this girl pulls up the scalpel and stabs herself in the eye and another girl gets splattered with her blood. That's not in the movie. What the fuck? And there's stuff that I expected them to change in the trailer. They flipped some shots so it's it fits better with what you saw in the last scene. It flows better for your eyes. Or they played some stuff in reverse, which was weird, but not unexpected, just kind of dumb and weird. And there were some menial shots that weren't actually in the movie, like a part where Slender Man grabs a girl's face, but overall it was pretty normal. But that whole scene isn't in the movie. She never stabs her eye with a scalpel in science class. That doesn't happen. So why is it in the trailer? It doesn't add anything to the movie. It's just a lie.